All right, guys. Hi. Thank you to those of you that have logged in and are able to join. Once again, as we said yesterday, we're hoping everybody's doing well and hoping everybody's family has everything that they need, obviously, in this kind of weird time. Some housekeeping stuff to go over as we start to dive into this. This is something that's Dan in the background. This is something that we're going to do daily at 12 o'clock. My anticipation is that these meetings are going to run from anywhere from like 15 minutes to 45 minutes, and the content of each meeting will differ. Everybody is going to be put on mute. If you have a question, please go ahead and type it into the chat box, and we'll be able to monitor those and get those answered at the end of every session. Other than that, today what we are going to talk about, and hopefully everybody has a copy of this book, as we posted yesterday, and we already started to dive into. Hi, Thomas Jacobs. We're going to talk today about the first 28 pages of Shift. So if you haven't read it, the audiobook is available for free online. If you don't have that link, let me know, and we can send that out to you to make sure everybody's got it. But that's a lot of what we're going to cover today and going forward. And so one of the first big fundamental things that I took out of the first 28 pages, and a big thing that Gary Keller says and kind of repeats throughout the book, is that success is simply the end result of a challenge accepted and achieved. And I don't want you guys to forget that, we say it all the time, success leaves clues. The activities and the habits really don't change, and yet our approach to them in light of everything that's going on will change a little bit. But it kind of all boils down to getting back to the fundamentals that we've learned in the MREA, the things that we go over in our training every week. The approach to the business might be a little bit different, but the things that we've got to do and the activities that we've got to really start to drive home are not going to change, and they're going to determine the success of our business. Gary Keller says in the book, there's no goal. Hi, Richard. There's no goal worth having that doesn't require you're doing some undesirable tasks. And that right now, especially, guys, I know that there are a lot of you out there that are probably not 100%, that are maybe checked out a little bit. And I know you've got a lot going on, and your mind is in a million different places. And I want you to know that you're not alone in that. That's probably everybody. That being said, we do need to try to limit that. We're all going to have those days, especially now with so much uncertainty and so much going on. But I want to challenge everybody to remember, why we got into real estate. Remember your big why. Remember the families and the clients that you've been able to help by providing them an amazing service and a home buying and a home selling experience. Because right now, there are people out there that are really yearning for and craving that same experience. There are still buyers out there that are looking to buy. There are still sellers out there that need to sell. And whether it's today or a month from now or 6 months from now, we have an amazing opportunity to make sure that these people get the best service from the best agents, from the best real estate company in the world. And I genuinely believe that we're in the position to do that. And this shift, I think, is an opportunity for those who are willing to do what others won't, for those of us who are willing to focus on and do the activities. And I'm committed, and our office is committed here to providing you everything that you need to do that, okay? I know that we will, and to be honest with you, there's this kind of beauty behind it. I'm not ashamed to say it. When you think about it, we have an unfair advantage with everything going on. It wasn't too long ago that people wrote us off. When we made the pivot to becoming a technology company, Inman wrote an article, and I distinctly remember them saying that Keller Williams has just committed suicide, and that Gary Keller has lost his way when he made that announcement that we were going to become a technology-based company. 5 years, $1 billion+ later, and dozens of different sales records. That pivot and that technology and that leadership and that foresight has positioned us as the most suited to come out of this shift even stronger. I'm extremely grateful for the vision that Gary and the rest of the Keller Williams leadership had 5 years ago, because now it puts us in a spot to really do some amazing things as the rest of the industry is kind of scrambling, okay? So for me, I genuinely believe it's time to get our unfair share. Okay, when EXP, you know, and I don't mean to bash all these other brokerages, but when you think about it, when EXP was building their multi-level marketing scheme and teaching their agents to focus on recruiting, and they were pitching their stock, and when, you know, when Compass was spending millions of dollars on their concierge platform, and when Realogy even was partnering with Zillow and Amazon to you know, more or less kind of sell out the industry in a way, we were busy building the first agent branded end-to-end platform exclusively for Keller Williams agents. Okay, so think about that. Think about, you know, what position we're in now. While the rest of the industry was focusing on the now and the present, our company had the vision and the wherewithal to wonder and pivot and make sure that we're placing ourselves so that when things start to transition, we're best suited to tackle it. Okay. Now, if you guys are, I don't know, I don't want to talk a lot about it, but if you've looked at any of the EXP or Zillow stock, it's a weird time. I got to tell you, I'm very grateful to be with a private company that has no debt and that has an agent first philosophy. I can't even begin to say how amazing it is knowing that you know, Gary Keller, Josh team, and the rest of the KW crew have done an amazing job focusing on the agents. I feel like we're in a fantastic position because of that. So if we've got 6 areas to focus in, as it says in the Shift book, you know, you've got number 1, lead gen, 2, presentations and agreements. Number 3 is showing to buyers and marketing for sellers. Number 4 is writing and negotiating contracts. Number 5 is coordinating sales to closing. And number 6 is managing money. It says very explicitly in Shift that you can more or less delegate items 2 through 6. But as the CEO of your company, guys, you and you alone are responsible for the results of your business. That being said, you cannot delegate the core of your business, which is lead gen. Okay. In fact, you know, it says pretty explicitly, you need to double down on your lead gen efforts. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about tracking your goals. I challenge every one of you, if you haven't done this yet, make 50 calls to your database. Okay. 50 phone calls. And then from there, track the number of people that you get in touch with, the number of contacts that you make. Okay. And then from there, try to gather as much information from them as you can to put into your database, email addresses, physical addresses, birthdays, etc. Okay, track how many of those you're able to get more info from. And then try to obviously get an appointment. Track the number of appointments that you're able to confirm. Track the number of referrals that you're able to get. And then from there, once that starts to catapult into more business, track the number of contracts you're able to write and track the number of closings that you have. Okay? Now do that for a week. Make 50 phone calls a day for a week and start tracking those numbers. Okay? And then scale it to match your goals. 50 is a small number for some of us. If you're already in production, do 100. But essentially what we want to start to figure out is how to maneuver through this shift. How many calls does it now take us to get an appointment? How many appointments does it now take us to get into contract? Okay, and if you've never done this, fantastic. You're not going to notice much of a change, and this is just going to be kind of a more or less business as usual for you. If you have done this before, you'll probably notice that it's going to require more effort than you're used to. And this is the time for us to double down and focus once again on the activities. Okay? Anybody? We're good?
Great. Keep it up, Ray. Crushing it.
How you doing, bud? So I want to read to you the last page of the forward in Shift. And this is from Stephen Chernisky. It says, quote, "And finally, I want to acknowledge that making change in your life is never an easy task. The key, however, is not to get caught up in the distance you have to go to get to where you want to be. Nor should you despair over the amount of control you have over your circumstances. Progress is made in the small, intentional steps, and chances are you have more power than you think. By focusing on little steps you can take every day, the progress you make will motivate you to continue your journey, and eventually you can go wherever you want to go. The important thing is simply to begin." Okay, and it's important to remember that that shifts have happened before, guys. This is not new. This isn't the first shift that we've seen in the real estate market. It absolutely will not be the last. So this shift, even though it's unique and obviously the circumstances are terrible, it's not completely unexpected, right? You know, if you look at real estate cycles, it's expected that every 10 years or so, we should see a new shift. So if the last shift, you know, started, if this market that we're in now started in 2010, by all accounts, we should be in a shift now. So it's not entirely unexpected. The difference, though, is, and we'll continue to evaluate as the market takes shape, we're not going from a seller's market to a buyer's market, okay? So it's not that traditional shift. Essentially, what we're gonna see, in my opinion, and once again, we'll evaluate, we're gonna stay in a seller's market. Inventory is most likely gonna stay low. Hopefully banks continue to keep interest rates low and hand out mortgages. But what this really means to me, and something that we really need to focus on and anticipate, it's the same rule that is always applied, but even more so, those that have the listings have power, okay? If you've got listings and you're angling for listings and you're talking to sellers and focusing on people that have to sell and hitting your database, you have power, all right? And at Keller Williams, we've got the resources, we've got the database to obtain and market those listings. Utilize the tech advantage that we have to gain that unfair share, okay? When you start talking to sellers, make sure that you're talking to them and making sure that they recognize this is a time when there's not as many buyers out there, you know? And at Keller Williams, we've got the most agents with the biggest database, with the biggest referral network, with the biggest reach as the #1 real estate company in the world. Okay, that's in volume, units, agent count, etc. There is no better time to align yourself with a company like ours that prioritizes the client experience and that has the global reach and global impact that we do. Okay, leverage that when you're talking to sellers. Now in Shift, if you guys start to get into chapter 1, they talk about what's called the law of equilibrium. Okay, so if you have your books in front of you and you go to page 13, I'm going to quote a little bit. The law states that the available income in a market determines the number of agents in that market. Now, as the transaction numbers rise, so do the number of agents. And conversely, when the number of available transactions falls, so does the number of agents. Okay, that makes sense to everybody, I hope. But I do want to talk a little bit about, you know, what that means. We're entering what they call the down lag. And I think that's pretty obvious to everybody here. We're going to see less transactions, okay? And yet the pace at which we see less agents comparable to the amount of transactions is slower. So it's inevitable that we do have some agents drop off. It's important that you know I'm so confident in what we're doing within our office and within our company. We're not going to see the attrition that other companies are, because we're going to pour into our agents, make sure that they've got the tools that they need to go out there and be successful, okay? It's also important that we start to take advantage of that down lag. As agents start to drop off, this is time for us to capture market share, okay? Build your fortress. Our fortress, in my opinion, is our database. Now is the time to hit your SOI hard. Make sure that you're touching base with them. If for nothing else, just coming from a place of contribution and concern, just check in right now and remind them that it doesn't have to be today, 6 months from now, a year from now. If they have questions about the market, which is inevitably going to change, you're the go-to resource. If they need anything from a real estate standpoint, you're the go-to resource. And just as a human, if there's anything that you can do to help them and their family, absolutely do what you can, okay? But now's the time to make sure that we're tightening up our relationships with our sphere of influence. It's now also a time to build up your database hard, okay? What does your market share and your profit look like in 12 months if we can use this down lag as a time to build our database well into the high hundreds or even thousands, and then strategically put them on a 36-point touch that for the most part is about 75% automated because of the tools that we've got in command, okay? What does your market share and what do your profits look like when we've tightened up that database and we've systematically built the database when that up lag comes back around? What kind of business are we running if we use this opportunity now to tighten up what we're already doing and use the tools that we've already got. Okay? I want to be clear, mindset is going to be so important to everything that we're doing. And there's a whole part of chapter 1 that talks about mindset. If you turn to page 23 in Shift, if you've got it in front of you, it says, we are what we decide we will be, and we do what we decide we will do. We become our choices. Okay? Right now, guys, I want to emphasize it's a unique time. There's some uncertainty for sure. Please don't panic. Don't fear. There's an amazing quote that I keep referring back to from George Adair. It says that everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Okay? Let's make sure that we're doing what we need to do to get our head right. There's a lot of questions that are being asked, and we're going to do everything that we can to provide you accurate answers and get you information. But on your end, we need to make sure that our head is right. Surround yourself with positive content. Okay, surround yourself with positive people. Stay off Twitter. Maybe don't watch 6 hours of CNN or Fox News. Instead, pick up a book, a motivational book. Pick up Shift. Okay, watch stand-up comedy. Do anything that you need to make sure that mentally you're ready to go. Focus on your family. Focus on your big why. Focus on your priorities. Okay, and not just that. Use this opportunity, guys, to be a leader. And set a positive example for others as we continue to surround ourselves with positivity and soak up that good energy. Pay that forward. All right. Be the positive presence, amongst those around you. Everybody knows, and I think it goes without saying, we can't control the market, but we absolutely can control our mindset. Okay. So straighten that out and then get to work. Take action. If you take one thing away from today, it's just that. Take action. Okay? There's 2 actions that we have to take ownership of, and this is without question. That's lead generation and lead conversion. As business owners, as CEOs, you're responsible for the direction and the growth of your business, and there's 2 things that we've got to focus on to do just that, and it's lead generation and lead conversion. Ben Kinney said that this market is chaos, and chaos is opportunity. So take advantage of this opportunity to take hold of the things that we can control. Take hold of your business, take hold of your database, take hold of the relationships that you've got that are going to propel you forward when the rest of the industry is struggling just to get back going. Okay? There's a lot of people that are going to balk at this opportunity, that are going to shy away from being able to jump in and really do what they can to serve their community and grow their business and become a force in real estate. There's a lot of people that are going to miss that chance, and it's not going to be us. I promise you, with everything that we have available to us and the ways that we're dedicated to pouring into our agents, that's not going to be us. Okay? Our mantra, and I want to close, our mantra as a company has really been the same for a while. And if I summarize it, we've been the leaders in training, and we are the leaders in training. We are now the leaders in technology from a real estate standpoint. We absolutely are the leaders in culture. And going back to our mantra, guys, we're just getting started. Okay, and with that, continue to read the book. Tomorrow, I want to focus on some actual real estate practice, some things that we're seeing in the market. We're going to talk a little bit about open houses and scripts and things like that. And then we're going to go over chapter 2 of Shift on Monday. So if you haven't read it yet, please do so. Ask any questions that you've got on Monday. But we're going to continue to dive into this book. And I'll be honest, we are going to jump around a little bit. We're not going to go sequentially from chapter to chapter. I think that given the time, we need to navigate it a little bit different. So for Monday, we'll definitely start with chapter 2. But after that, we're going to move around. So with the rest of the time that we've got, whether it's about 10 or 25 minutes or so, I want to open it up to any questions you guys might have. If there's anything I can help you with, anything that we can address, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask. We were going to kind of open it up to the chat box, but I feel like we've got a size enough audience that's going to allow us to open things up audibly.
Yeah, my big thing, guys, is as fatalistic as it might sound, it's really not that big of a deal. The biggest thing that Ray started this with is we just got to double down on our actions. If you read the first 28 pages, you just have to be slightly better than average, slightly to the right of average. What that means is if you're making 20 contacts right now, it's going to turn to 35. If you're making 30 contacts right now, it's going to turn to 50. It's not a
Thomas, we're losing you. I can't tell if he's doing it on purpose. He's obviously not, but that sounds fantastic. Thomas, if you don't mind, drop some stuff in the chat box. It looks like your internet's lagging out.
Success and really see, and it's also something that's not going to happen. If you missed once for the real estate shift, it's going to be more gradual.
Any other questions we've got? It looks like we're losing Thomas. All right, well, I've got everybody. Dawn, how are you? How is everything holding up? How are you and the family? Fantastic. Guys,
hey, Ray, I just want to interrupt really quickly. I don't know if you told them about the shift as an audiobook, because I think that's a really great opportunity for people to drive and listen to it when they're stuck at home.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the beginning, and I'll reiterate. Thank you, Robin. The Shift audiobook is available for free. So if you don't have it or you know somebody that would benefit from it, please let us know. We'll get that out as soon as possible. I've got the link on my phone. You can text me personally or email us at the front desk, and we'll get that link out. Dawn, how is everything?
Perfect. Everything is good. So I did want to share some good news. I know you spoke a little bit about transactions slowing down. Just so y'all know, I haven't experienced that yet. We had 12 openings on Monday. And the week is still young, right? So I saw a few more come across my email. So real estate is out there to be sold. So get out there, agents, sell that real estate.
And what I really want to push, guys, and Thomas alluded to it and really kind of drove that point home. So thank you again, Thomas. Now is the time, even though we haven't seen a slowdown, it's the time to double down on those activities. I think a slowdown, and I believe everyone's going to agree.
Yeah, what you do now is going to help your June, July, and August, right?
Absolutely.
So what we're seeing now is the activity that you guys did at the end of the year and the beginning of this year, but we don't know what's going to happen. So I agree with Thomas. Now's the time to double down on that lead gen and leave the paperwork to me, guys. You know, talk about leverage. I don't get paid until we close, so there's no out of pocket expense. So let me take care of your paperwork.
Focus on that 20%. Thomas, you're back.
Yes.
I got booted. I guess my computer didn't want to work, so I switched to cell phone.
We appreciate you rejoining us. Do you want to pick up where you left off? You had some amazing points I'd like to make sure everybody is able to hear.
The big thing that everyone needs to realize is it's going to take time for the market and these agents and the actual earning opportunity to really take itself into full fruition. What I mean by that is, imagine we have a brick wall here and we're having a wave by wave. Every single time that wave hits and people start getting dejected, it's going to be more people falling out, fewer people breaking to that other side. If you read the first 28 pages of Shift, that brick wall analogy works so perfect right here, because if I want to run through that brick wall, the merit is not on the strength of that brick wall. The merit is upon my will to get through that wall. So if I'm willing just to do the little things that I don't necessarily feel like doing today, but I know that I need to, that's going to make my efforts getting to that other side of that and then reaching massive success that much more obtainable. And the crazy thing about that is all that means is picking up the phone, sitting at your desk for an additional 45 minutes, getting those extra 3 contacts, making that extra 10 calls, sending out that extra reach, that handwritten note, just the little things to differentiate yourselves. Right now, people just want to hear a friendly voice. I mean, if you weren't in the conversation yesterday, it's what better time to be in an industry where we are right now, where we know all these parents are sitting at home with their kids, just waiting for an excuse to hear something and get their minds off of it. And that might not pay dividends right now, but like Don was saying, everything we do today, we're going to see in June, July. Every action you take today, we're going to see 90 days from now. That's just the nature of the industry we're in. And the cool thing about that is it's going to be compounded because in 90 days, the agents who aren't doing anything now, they're not going to have anything going on. So it's more business for us. And they're probably getting out of the industry in the next 16 months. And we just keep collecting that momentum, keep doing the things that we don't want to do. All of a sudden, those things we don't want to do become habit, and we do it like it's second nature. And then we're off and running.
Dan, he preaches to me about, he wants it to, and for every agent, let's get to where we're uncomfortable not doing our 20%. It doesn't always come across as something that we're comfortable doing with lead generating and hitting our database and being very purposeful with our business growth. And yet, if we do it habitually, like Thomas said, and I love the way that you put it, if we really tighten that up and we make that a priority, we'll get to where it's uncomfortable when we don't do it. And that's, I think, what we should all strive for. I see, a lot of agents, and I'm sure you see it as well, they're kind of acting like this is business as usual. And I don't want to paint a doom and gloom picture, but I'd be remiss if I didn't convey we are going to see a slowdown. Absolutely. I think it's inevitable. How long that lasts is really open to interpretation, and folks more suited to answer that question are speculating. So I'm not going to throw numbers out. And yet if the rest of the industry stands pat, and they just continue what they've been doing, while we continue to accelerate and prepare for that inevitable slowdown, we're going to be in position to make sure that our market share and our story is one of success. We're not going to fall prey to a lot of what other realtors are, unfortunately, because they don't have the resources and they didn't come into this prepared. I love what Thomas said about driving through that wall. Bunker down. The effort that we put in now is going to determine what our business looks like 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now.
And I hope the other two agents in here, that's why I was laughing a second ago, really, really hold on to that, because it's, I mean, this says it all. Like, we have people in our own office center who aren't even plugging into these things where it's just value. How do you get to that next level? And there's 3 agents in here right now. And it's just like, we got to do what we got to do. And we're going to do it well.
And we're going to do it. We're going to get in front of our people just so everyone knows, and we'll send this out. Obviously, this is the first one that we're doing. I'm looking forward to building attendance. This will be every day at 12 o'clock. I'm committed to get in front of everybody and making sure that we give you what you need and we act as a resource and we can communicate and share what we're seeing out there. Robin has done an amazing job. She's created a YouTube page for the office that is going to have all of these videos posted to it. So Thomas, Dawn, Richard, Margot, I know Tom was on here earlier. Share the link if you know somebody that is, looking forward to watching it in a later time. We want that to be available. We don't want our people to miss out on training because the timing didn't work out. But going forward, once again, it's 12 o'clock Monday through Friday. You can anticipate seeing me get in front of you guys and answer any questions that you got and continuing to build each other up and provide training. All right. Anything before we go? Thomas, Dawn, Richard, Margot, and obviously Robin, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out and being a part of this with us. I'm looking forward to growing together. We'll see you guys tomorrow, where we're going to talk about some market stats, some things that we're doing to counter some of the objections that are inevitably going to come our way. So if you have any questions or you think of anything, come prepared tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We'll send out the link tomorrow morning. All right, guys. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Be safe.